for you. It's okay, baby, you'll be alright. Feminine energy flowing through me, soft but strong like heat in the breeze.
This feels really obvious, and I'm surprised I've never shared it here, that one of the main reasons I got into teaching embodied movement was because it
really did transform my life. I was noticing every week I would show up to talk therapy and I would talk about my problems, what's going on in life, the heavy things to do with my health conditions, like whatever. And it wasn't until I would go into my embodied movement class that I could actually feel all of those things. The full spectrum of all the things that I was navigating. Some of the things that maybe I wasn't even consciously really aware of, and I would check in with my body like, whoa, that is way more present than I realized. Or totally other things would come up in my movement practice and just feeling and sensing and noticing. And it wasn't until I would go back to my talk therapy that I'd go, you won't believe what happened in my movement class. You won't believe what happened in my movement class. And this happened over and over and over again. And voila, here I am teaching. It was really the curiosity that brought me into teaching. I wanted to know what was happening. Why was I feeling all these things that sometimes I wasn't allowing myself to feel, experience, uncover, or really be honest about when I was talking about them? But then they would come up in how I was feeling, when I was moving, when I was really present with myself in my embodied movement practice. And again, I would notice things would shift, things would change. I would have a new relationship. I would find out something different about myself or the situation I was navigating. And I said, all this other stuff was coming up too. And so I wanted to know, what is all this other stuff? And why is this practice so powerful?
I was diagnosed with chronic kidney disease 23 years ago, and I've had to walk through so much fear and uncertainty connected to this illness. Through it all, embodied movement has been my saving grace. It's been my constant companion, the practice I return to again and again, helping me process what words couldn't do, grounding me when I felt fear or overwhelm, and reconnecting me back to the truth of my body. This practice helps me remember who I am, my strength, and my power.
Let me share with you the moment that I fell in love with my fleshier body. It was in a dimly lit room, and I was witnessing two women in movement in front of me. Now, these women were deeply embodied, moving with such sensual aliveness, so much vitality and pleasure moving through their bodies. One was a little bit, you could say, thicker. She had more body fat. She had rolls around her midsection. She had bigger, juicier butt and thighs. The other woman was more toned looking. You could see more muscle definition. She definitely had lower body fat. But it was in that moment I noticed that I was so much more drawn to the woman who was more fleshier, who had more meat on her bones, who was curvier, who was thicker. And that was when my healing started. That's when I started to appreciate my own body and its curves and its roundness and its thickness.